I would love, Katie, can you join me? We are actually going to have a bit of a Q&A now, so we're going to change up the structure a little bit, so you actually get to hear me speak for a while. And yes, I do have your mic. There you go, my love. So Katie, who's going to speak next, is the founder of a brilliant community called Flexible Working People. She has empowered hundreds of thousands of people, and she's an advocate for flexible work. On LinkedIn, she's a top voice. And I know you from working at Microsoft and working in this industry. So let's welcome Katie to the stage. So give her a round of applause.
I've got massive imposter syndrome.
Don't we all, babe? Don't we all? Well, I also have the brain fog as well, so I'm glad someone said that, because I'm like, but I'm feeling like a bit of a snack now because I'm not quite 50, so I'm about 11s. So I'm thinking like, it's not lunchtime, it's 11s. That's how I'm feeling at the moment. Katie, could you introduce yourselves to the room and tell us a bit about what you do and why you're here speaking today?
Oh, I'd love to. Hi everyone, I'm Katy Fridman, and thanks for that lovely introduction. I haven't driven a boat across the Atlantic, and I haven't written a book, but here I am nonetheless, very privileged to have been invited. I founded I set up a Facebook group, so not that exciting, about 7 years ago, 7 years ago, called Flexible Working for Mums Like Me. It's since changed to a business called Flexible Working People. And I am a champion of flexible working and for enabling people to get back into the workplace who don't necessarily fit the 9-to-5 mould. And I know that there'll be plenty of women in here who have been through their own personal challenges in the workplace. So that's what I do, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. And in preparation for this event, we had a bit of a chit chat, didn't we? We talked about sort of like work-life balances and challenges that you might have had in your professional career, and why that sort of like drove you down the path to set up this Facebook group. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I did a law degree because my mum told me to. I didn't really want to be a lawyer, but I thought that was a good idea. And then I went into legal publishing, and I worked my way up the career ladder, and I ended up as an acting director of trade marketing at Microsoft. There are plenty of Microsoft people here. Put your hands up if you're ex-Microsoft, current Microsoft. And my lovely co-acting director of marketing is here too. Anita, where are you? Yay.
Don't be shy, Anita.
So it's kind of a bit full circle to be here talking about this, and all these incredible women in the room and a couple of men, David, and any others. It's a bit full circle to be here talking about this with all my old colleagues. But basically, I worked really hard to get into a senior role at Microsoft, and I'd worked really hard in previous jobs. And then I had my first child, my daughter. Now she's 13, Jessica. And while I was on maternity leave, I got made redundant. That word, redundant, which makes you feel like shit, which basically makes you feel like you're not worthy. And
like an old computer that no one wants anymore.
A bit knackered.
Yeah.
Yes, and being redundant is a bit shit. And just like Eleanor just said, it made me go, well, what am I doing? What am I going to do with this? And actually, there was a choice to make at the time. Did I want to go back and work full time and get myself back on the career ladder? And I felt like the choice was tricky because I couldn't find a senior job doing what I was doing without compromise. And the compromise was that I wasn't going to be there to bring up my child, and then went on to have a second. So it was a really messy few years for me because I couldn't find a job that paid me what I wanted to be paid with the nice car that I was driving, travelling around the world and doing fabulous things. And it really pissed me off because I kept seeing people at the school gate and all the people who had done similar big jobs. It really pissed me off that they were all sitting on the sidelines going, oh, I fell out of my career and I got made redundant, or I've had kids and I can't get back in. And it was just like, is it us that's broken? Or maybe there's something wrong with the workplace. Maybe the workplace is broken because they're not offering enough women a route back into the workplace with any flexibility. And it really pissed me off, and being pissed off drove me to set up Flexible Working for Mums Like Me. And very quickly, just like you said, Eleanor, I galvanised hundreds, thousands of women who all went, well, I've been feeling a bit like that. And, you know, I totally align with everything you're saying. So I was driven by a mission to help women to get back into the workplace. And so flexible working for mums like me became flexible working people, because actually by just talking about women needing flexibility, we perpetuate this thing that it's about women, and it's not about women, it's about everybody, and everybody deserves some element of flexibility if that's what they want. And that our lives are messy and they're not linear, and our careers aren't our life. We have children, we have parents, we have all sorts of things that take us away from our careers, and we are more than just our careers. Anyway, so that's a long answer to my messy bit, where I think we laughed, didn't we? Because I said that I used to hide in the toilet at work, because I got a really big job as a commercial director at the bread factory, which is part of Gale's Bakery. And once the bakery nearly burnt down and I was on the school run and I was nowhere to be seen. And then I used to hide in the toilet with my handbag at 3:00 because I had to go and pick up my kids, and everyone would go, "Have a nice evening, bye." And I'd think, "Oh, shit," and hide and run out the door. And I just didn't like it very much. So I decided that I was going to help more people find flexible work, and that's what I've been doing. So there's now 100,000 plus people in my world, in my community, and I help people to find flexible jobs that enable them to have careers that work for them on terms that work for them, but still able to bring their brilliant minds back into the workplace.
I think that, I'll let them clap. I think what you said about hiding in the toilet, I don't have children, but I have had like appointments, and I was caring for my dad at one point. He was suffering from cancer, and I used to have to take him to chemo appointments. And I myself felt uncomfortable leaving early, even though I knew I had a valid reason and why I had to leave, but that whole hesitation of like, oh, I've got to go. So I think lots of people, whether they're parents or not, can also feel that pressure to be present and presenteeism in the workplace. So kind of talking a little bit more about presenteeism, we've had the pandemic, remote working and stuff like that, but do you still think there's a pressure for people in the workplace? It might not be physical presenteeism now, but is there sort of like virtual presenteeism? And have we really come far with the flexibility given where we are now with these hybrid working systems, or are people still feeling like there's not that flexibility for them?
So it's a really good question. I think the pandemic had a massive, massive impact on flexible working.